Would you go to a seafood restaurant to get a high quality steak? Or would you go to a basketball coach to become a better hockey player? If not, why the hell would you go to a bodybuilder or fitness model to learn how to bench press? Here's what you have to understand, folks. The bench press has been perfected for many, many decades now. In fact, it is a competition lift in the sport of powerlifting. So guess what? You need to listen to powerlifters if you want advice, because the bench has very specific rules, laws, regulations, all kinds of things that prevent you from getting red lighted, which means no lift. And believe it or not, a lot of what these bodybuilders are doing is A, going to get you red lighted, and B, is going to cause you to either experience pains in the long term, injuries, and guess what? Not maximize strength gains. So that's why you got to learn from powerlifters. You got to look at the best of the best for a given sport. That's what I'm always doing. If I want to become a better arm wrestler, I'm going to visit a freaking arm wrestler. If I want to become a better strongman, I'll see strongman guys. Always look at the specific guys who are giving you advice. So that said, the proper powerlifting bench press, number one, includes retraction of the scapula, okay? A lot of these bodybuilders, man, they say that you want to have a flat back when you bench, right? Because this will allow you to get deeper range of motion and better stretch your pecs. And yeah, you are going to get deeper range of motion, but guess what? You're also going to get a lot of shoulder strains and pec strains, stuff that you don't really need. Because when you're not retracting your scapula, you're loose. You're loose like a spaghetti. And guess what? That causes injuries, that causes muscular imbalances. I mean, you know how bad that is when you're loading heavy ass weight and you're doing this shit? You know, you're not tight. That is a big no-no, man. So you need to learn how to go up, back, and down, stretch out like this, and press like this. That's all you gotta do. Never lose tightness. That is the number one thing in benching. And that's why rows are so important. That's why your rowing volume should be the same as your benching volume for the most part. Because every time you do a press, you need to complement that with a pull. And that's another thing. Guys are not training their backs optimally. And they wonder why their bench press tightness sucks ass. You need to do both. You need to do a horizontal push, horizontal pull. That's step number one in benching. Step number two, leg drive is absolutely essential. Now, there are two forms of doing leg drive. You can either widen your legs a little bit and press with your heels, right? Or you can get on your tippy toes and shove your legs under you. And now you can press with the balls of your feet. Both methods work. The wide leg with the heels is better if you're tall, while the tippy toe method is better if you're short, okay? And you see, that is very important because a lot of guys, when they bench, you see their legs dancing around. It's like the dancing leg syndrome. And that is not good because, again, you're losing tightness. What you have to understand is that when you have leg drive, that is usually coupled with thoracic extension. So they actually go hand in hand. So all the guys saying, well, you know what, Alex, I'm not a powerlifter. What's the point of using leg drive? You need it for safety purposes. You need it for tightness purposes. Simple as that. Because when you squeeze your glutes, when you press your legs into the ground, it's going to make sure that you're stable up here. Everything down from the torso all the way to the legs has to be rigid. If a guy goes behind you, right, and he tries moving you, he should not be able to move your legs. You should be really like solid. That's when you know you're benching the proper way, okay? And in terms of the arch, what you have to realize is that you're not arching the lower back, okay? That's a big misconception. What you are doing is squeezing the glutes, using leg drive, and retracting the scapula. This combination will give you like a curved looking back, but it's not you extending the spine. That's not what it is, because I can easily lie down on the bench flat and then just extend my spine, right? And it'll look like I'm tight, but guess what? I can still have a loose scapula and loose legs. So the secret to benching properly is not thinking about, okay, how much can I extend my spine? No, it's about keeping your chest up, retract the scapula, using the leg drive, and that is the proper form. And then in terms of the arms, you need to start tucking your elbows in, man. This shit right here, where your arms are all the way flared out, and you're doing this guillotine bullshit, that is going to wreck your shoulders in the long term. So what you have to do, instead of being all the way out here, just tuck it a little bit, right there, 45, okay? And if you want even more, you can go neutral. You can either go neutral or right here, okay? And what you do is you go down and then you flare. Down and you flare. Or you just keep it in all the way like this, okay? And same thing for your dumbbell presses, by the way. Dumbbell presses should not be flared all the way out to here. That's how you get fucked up shoulders. Remember, 45 degrees, now you're in the money. Or neutral grip. This is the correct way to fucking bench, all right? Powerlifter, perfected. Powerlifter, time tested. If you use all the techniques in this video, I would not be surprised if you get like 30 pounds out of your bench in one session. You're gonna add more weight to your bench. You're gonna prevent injuries from arising because everything is tight. You're gonna get stronger, faster. This is really the only way to bench. There's no other way, man, because if you're not retracting your scapula, you're gonna fuck up your shoulders. You're gonna be loose. It's not a good thing. If you're not using leg drive, you again increase the chances of not being tight in your upper body. And a lot of people they kind of overhype the benefits of leg drive. They say, oh, it's going to add 1,000,000 pounds to your lift. No, it doesn't. Leg drive just helps you get tighter. It doesn't really add that much weight. Like maybe like 5 pounds to the absolute max, if that. That might even be of a stretch. But it's, trust me, like you're not taking away tension from your pecs just because you're using a powerlifting style bench press. Trust me, your pecs are going to grow just fine, especially if you pause. I'm not saying you got to pause because that is a requirement in powerlifting competition. But if you want to do that, like let's say you use all the tips right now and your range of motion is cut a little bit, pause on your chest, and your pecs are going to grow just fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong about doing that. If you're doing 315 for a set of 10 on a pause bench, right, you honestly think your pecs are going to be lagging? Obviously not, man. So this is the correct way to bench. Only listen to powerlifters. Don't listen to bodybuilders, unless, of course, they got the information from a powerlifter. So that's it for today's video. I know for you seasoned lifters, it's kind of like common sense there, but for the newer guys, make sure you learn it right from the get-go. So that's it, man. Give me your feedback down below, and I will talk to you all next time.